controversy for you guys, and wouldn't you know it, it has to do with Endymion, who we've been talking about quite frequently on the channel. He's been doing a lot of great videos lately about Ubisoft, and he dared touch about CD Projekt Red. He dared talk about him. And you know what? One of their boss guys was not all about it. Hey, everybody, I'm Craig. Welcome to the channel, Side Scrollers Podcast. Man, oh man, we'd love for you guys to join the 102,000 normal men. So hit the subscribe button and join us over here. Hey, you found it. A place for common sense in the video game space. We're here. Okay, what's not common sense is grown men arguing online, right? But I'll tell you what, we live in a place right now where for the first time, the gamer has an opportunity to speak directly to the developer. And this is something that over the course of the video game industry has not necessarily been a thing. But now with X and social media, you know, this has been a thing for a few years. But it's always fun when these things just kind of pop up. So let's actually talk about this first and foremost. Let's go to Endymion over on X. He posted this video, says, I talked to a Ubisoft insider about the current state of the industry, as well as another source which tells me places like CD Projekt Red, even Funcom, which is making Dune Awaken, are in dire trouble. And yes, we are officially in a game crash. So what exactly is he talking about? Let's actually show exactly what video and what he said in the video. This is about a 2-minute long clip, so hang with me right here.
They say that there's a very bad case of tone-deaf leadership that has completely disconnected itself from the wants and needs of players across the industry.
He's specifically talking about Ubisoft right there. But he goes into CD Projekt Red right here.
For example, another source I was talking to told me that CD Projekt Red is in absolute chaos right now, based on who actually is still working there that used to work on the previous games. Apparently, lots of senior talent has already left CD Projekt Red. For example, the director of Witcher 3 has long left the studio, and they've already created their own studio with their own new game as well.
I want to point out that he's talking about an anonymous source coming forth and talking about this, right? And pointed out earlier in this video, there's a reason why the anonymity is actually really important. It's because, as pointed out in this video, if you are to speak out against this stuff, specifically at Ubisoft, but I would imagine across the board, that if you speak out against this insanity inside their own companies, you're probably going to get fired. And then you're probably going to get blacklisted. He mentions that earlier in the video, but he talks about CD Projekt Red here and kind of how the environment is tumultuous, to say the least, with some of the higher up people working for the company. Let's continue.
Apparently, places like Warhorse Studios, the makers of Kingdom Come Deliverance, they have actually been poaching talent from CD Projekt Red like crazy these past few years. And I was told that problems that are plaguing Ubisoft, like diversity hires, are also starting to damage and ruin CD Projekt Red as well. According to that other source, CD Projekt has begun to rely heavily on outsourcing to contractors to help with their games because the new talent that they have is nowhere near where they need them to be right now.
Let's actually take that for what it is. He says the source tells him that the idea that the new talent that they have isn't strong enough, so they got to hire in some consultants to kind of come in and clean up the mess, right? So let's just keep that in mind. That's a bullet point in the back of your brain here, because we're going to get to that in a second.
I was told the reason why the next Witcher is using Unreal Engine instead of the Red Engine that previous games did is largely because most of the senior talent that worked and understood the Red Engine are not at CD anymore, and Unreal is more of a one-size-fits-all sort of engine that many devs are familiar with these days. But in general, we have been seeing lots of recent game studios stating that they're switching to Unreal over their own in-house engines. A great example that was recent was Halo Studios, which was formerly known as 343 Industries, also confirming that they're making the next Halo game in Unreal as well. This is all being done because it's easier to understand, and Unreal makes it much easier to port your games to various consoles.
And nothing about that sounds bad or wrong or anything. It's just said, hey, you know, a lot of people left, so they're switching engines to make it a little more accessible for everybody else, because people mostly code on Unreal Engine. So there you go. Like, that doesn't sound that crazy to me, right? At all.
So it's both a business decision, but also because newer age devs are not seasoned with a lot of what made previous games work. But as I'm told, CD Projekt Red right now is in a very tough spot, and they're apparently hoping that their pedigree is going to carry these games to millions in sales. But I truly hope whatever comes from the next Witcher or Cyberpunk, that it isn't a repeat of 2077's launch, because they can't afford another disaster like that again. Circling back to
Okay, so that's pretty much it, what he talked about right there. Now, what's interesting about that is he actually finished saying, like, I hope that everything works out for them, right? And that's the thing when it comes to him talking about this. It has a positive slant. Like, look, this is what I've been told. This is what I hope happens. That's what's happening in this situation. Well, and keeping in mind, once again, the anonymity of this. Now, we see anonymous sources all the time in journalism, right? And I don't think if you were to talk to Endymion, he would actually say that he's a journalist by any means. He's a guy who makes videos on YouTube, and people have come to him and they feel comfortable talking to him about their experience. Could these people be lying? 100%. Absolutely. Could they have their facts wrong? 100%, right? But with all that said, the CD Projekt Red big boss over here, he is the joint CEO of CD Projekt Red, has chimed in, and he came in talking about Endymion and said this over on X. He says, "Seems like we live in times where anyone can record complete nonsense and make a story out of it. CD Projekt Red talent leaving? We have the lowest rotation of people in recent years. DEI-driven recruitment? We hire based on merit and talent alone. We just make games driven by artistic vision alone. Just as we make games driven by artistic vision alone. Why do we choose Unreal Engine? Because it enables us to work on our games more efficiently and we remain cutting edge tech wise." And I think that lines up, right? Now, does it have to do with people leaving? It could potentially. Obviously, as the co-CEO, I think these are things that you would absolutely say, right? We switched to these things. You don't want to be like, yeah, everybody left, so we switched, right? You're not going to say that. You're not going to confirm that. Yeah. We have bigger goals. We want to stay on the cutting edge. We're a cutting edge company. That's why we're using this right here. Continues. The Witcher 3's director left? Well, yeah, more than 2 years ago. And he said, actually, in the video, if you go back and listen to it, he said, a good time ago, he left. So nothing here has been, not confirmed. Says, now, can we stop looking for conspiracy theories and go back to making cool stuff, right? And naturally, he's the boss of this major company. People are like, yeah. But what's been interesting about this has been the response from Endymion to him back. And he said, he countered back to him saying this, "Hey, Michael, I hope I'm wrong about this, but I was relaying what I was told about CD Projekt Red from one of my sources who also told me about Funcom as well. Although if you're willing to talk, I would love to do just that. And if you could comment on your company's commitment to ESG as a company, publicly posted, that would be great too. I truly hope you guys don't go down the Rocksteady path, or say Firewalker, Concord, or in any way. Plus, we also know you guys have hired an activist from Insomniac as well. There's quite a bit to speak on if you'd like to. I'll leave a link below to CD Projekt Red's ESG video for context. But you say DEI isn't important, yet you also have that on your website claiming otherwise. I'm not calling you a liar, but there's a weird gray area here for sure. Anyways, I'll link to the ESG DEI stuff below this post for those who want a full transparency in what they're being told. So here's the video. This is it. It's about the deep dive and their approach to ESG. Now, in the interest of time, I've gone to the end and there's a summary here. And I think it's important to listen to this summary as we go along. Specifically, this is what CD Projekt Red is looking to dig into with their ESG. So here we go.
Summing up, our key ESG ambitions are to provoke reflections through the memorable stories we tell in our games.
By the way, so much of this is just corporate gobbledygook. This is like a board of directors got in a room and they're like, hey, we need to put this stuff together. And then they put on a whiteboard and they went down the list and they put a bunch of things. And then this one guy's like, no, that doesn't sound good enough. So they started wordsmithing this. I've seen this a million times. I've been a part of it a million times, and it's all just gobbledygook. It's so silly.
To be a company people want to be part of, to continue the green transformation on our campus and beyond, to build relationships based on trust and transparency.
And there we go. Okay. To build relationships based on trust and transparency, which is why I'm going to go back to Endymion's tweet here, right? This guy came in and the co-CEO, whatever it is, he came in and was like, no, this is all bullshit, right? Well, Endymion saying, hey, it's cool that you're willing to talk. I would love to do just that. Well, if you truly are a company that's built relationships based on trust and transparency, wouldn't it make sense to go in and do this and have a conversation? I think it would. Let's actually hear the last part of this.
to use our resources and competencies to support others.
Okay, so there you go. That's one of those things. Now we're not done here, because Endymion continues down on this X thread in response to Michael, and Michael's response pretty much saying, hey, this is all bullshit, right? And once again, I think the natural response is, if you're the CEO, you want your company to look as good as it possibly can. So anytime somebody comes out and says, well, this is not going well, you're going to say, whoa, well, are you kidding me? Everything's going great. Well, let's continue down. As you scroll down, you can see Endymion says, can you comment if what was being said here is true or not? I truly hope it's fake and not the case, but we have seen your company actively pushing for female hiring. I'll also post the DEI section to your company website next, which, I mean, you say there's no DEI, but, and this is a tweet here, an article from Scandalous Move by CD Projekt Red. Men are once again of the worst sort. So this is them specifically. They have a mentorship program that is designed specifically for women. Here's the DEI part of their website, which links directly to this, which very clearly the D and the I in DEI is diversity and inclusion. We're only missing the equity side of things. And here is actually the CEO. It says, our mission is to create revolutionary games for players around the world, and this is why we need to empower the potential of our teams. A diversity, right there, of perspectives unlocks creative and increases innovation. Right now, I want to go back to this original tweet here by this guy. Look, if you're hiring based on merit and talent alone, awesome. Then why do you have this? Why does this exist? Right? What exactly? There's your diverse, inclusion, equity. It's literally right there for you. Right? Let's go back to Endymion here. It says also, I should state that you said that you have very low turnover, yet it seems your company has lost many key players and higher ups in the past few years. I hope CD Projekt Red is okay over there. I want nothing more for you guys to keep making amazing games. Now, he has a rundown here of all the people who have left in the last couple of years. Now, look, they may have a very low turnover this year, but that doesn't mean the fact, like, these games take many, many years to produce. So I think these are very valid questions to ask when it comes to this. And you see, John Trent down here says he's not interested in talking. He's literally lied in every sentence he wrote. Now this person says, Yoko says, who are your sources? Listen, I think that's a fair question, but is the bar level for everybody? Because there are times where we see journalists on Kotaku, Polygon, IGN, whatever, use that term journalist loosely, where they name anonymous sources. This anonymous source said this, right? We even saw this with like the Mr. Beast stuff. This anonymous person came forward. And they take it as a word, right? So look, could that anonymous source be spewing bullshit? Yes, absolutely. But is the CEO most likely doing his best to cover his ass? CYA, man, making sure, CYA, cover your ass, making sure everything looks good. 100%. I think there's more to this. I really do. And when you're dealing with one or two people along the way who are sources from the inside, they could be disgruntled employees. They absolutely could. But I do think Endymion is taking the information that he's been given, vetting it, and going forth with it. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm sure we'll have more information about it as it goes forward. And I will talk to Endymion privately to see what he has to say about that. But with that said, I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully you guys tune into the show on Monday. We got a great one coming for you guys. Hit the subscribe button. Join the 102,000 normal men. Watch a video right here. And we'll see you guys later.